A Shaler hockey player is suspended following a fight at a high school game against Greater Latrobe last week. There's so much going through athletes' minds when they're playing sports, from the pressures from parents to the need to win, and it could all have a chain reaction. Here to talk more about how parents can help their children handle it all is Stephen Gonzalez. He's with the Association for Applied Sports Psychology. Thanks for joining me tonight, Stephen.
Thanks for having me.
What comes to mind for you when you see fights like that one?
Unfortunately, whenever we're within sport, we have this concept of bracketed morality, which means, within the context of sport, you could do things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to get away with outside of the context of sport. So, for example, fighting, slide tackling, playing within the rules, as people like to say. And so, unfortunately, this was a very emotional moment. It's a kid skating off the ice, seeing parents fighting, feels a need to get involved, and there's no break right there. And so, unfortunately, emotions can overtake, and it ended in a really serious situation.
What sorts of pressures are at play for student athletes right now?
There's a lot, especially I work in college athletics, and I know a lot of student athletes are looking to, how they get to college, how they can, get a roster spot, scholarship. So there's a lot of pressure with what has COVID taken, the delays. And then there's also a ton of people in transfer portals, and there's a lot of backlog. So there's a lot of pressure, more so than ever, to try to get to that next level. And I feel that that is something that a lot of our high school athletes at this current moment are really facing.
Some of the parents feel the pressure too, and I know a lot of parents probably are wondering, how do you walk that line? How are you an engaged fan, supportive of your child, without interfering?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've gone from helicopter parenting to what some people are calling special forces parenting. So you're out of the helicopter and you're clearing the way for your son or daughter or child. And in this case, these are parents clearly heated over what's going on at a high school hockey game. And I'm sure that the people are probably fairly decent citizens, but in this case, what was going on the ice and what was going on throughout the game started to irritate some people, and it unfortunately resulted in the situation that we have seen in this viral video. So I think it's hard for parents to disconnect, because a lot of parents do feel self-worth and whether their child is successful or not, or whether they're a good person or not. And it's important for parents to take a step back and realize you don't live through your child.
That's hard for any athlete to see their parent involved in any altercation or any confrontation with a coach. What coping mechanisms do you offer struggling student athletes that are trying to maneuver that?
I think you got to have conversations. One of the things that I'm always working with student athletes, even at the college level, is let's figure out how we're going to have the conversation with coach about playing time, about growth, about where they see their role or how they can be better. And talking about why it's so uncomfortable and how to do it in an appropriate manner. But I think it's important for people to start to take a little bit more ownership over their development too. So one thing that I have athletes do is sustains and improves. After every practice or game, you should be thinking about, what are the things that I did well? What are the things I kind of need to improve? Keep it to 2 or 3 on either side, so you're balanced. And then, all right, over time, you start to realize, am I doing these things well? Let me have a conversation with coach. And now a coach is always going to have a conversation with someone that says, hey, coach, I think I'm doing this, but I don't think I'm doing this. What do you think? Versus why aren't I playing? Every coach is going to have that conversation. And it helps parents, direct their child to be a little bit more self-sufficient, to have some self-awareness. We want you to develop that. Let's start doing that.
Proactive and more involved in their own development. Thank you, Stephen, for your time tonight. We appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. Take care.
We'll be following this story online, so be sure to keep an eye on KDKA.com. For when you're away from your television, we'll be sure to publish any new updates as we get them. Have a nice night, Stephen.
You as well. Take care.